Welcome back, everybody. Joining me, as promised, on the block is JoJo. How you doing today, JoJo?
I'm doing great, you beautiful beast. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, you beautiful beast.
Oh, stop.
I know.
Curly Sue.
Oh, you're the Curly Sue as well, or Curly Sam?
Look at the out of control.
Out of control, like with your one Superman curl.
I just
very
flop
sexy
around all day now.
I actually like it though. It's a new look, a new look
for now. I'll switch it up soon enough.
Hi, Sue.
Hi,
thanks for joining. And if it's your first time joining us on the block, we'll do us a favor and subscribe to Reality Pop. It is your new hub for all things reality TV. And today we are talking about Big Brother Canada Season 9, Episode 20, Eviction episode. Overall thoughts, JoJo?
Good episode.
Oh, you're sorry. Lana's here. Lana loves the curls. Lana is in the house. We do love the curls. We do. Hi, and Moses. What up? Well, thanks for joining us in the chat. We want to blow through the episode and then talk about our speculations about what's going to be going on next week, what potential outcomes could be, et cetera. So I am really happy to get into it. Yeah. So Sue likes Big Brother and Survivor. Well, that's good. I think there's a Survivor season that's going to be coming up shortly. I heard it's a shortened season, which I don't like that so much, but I am happy to get some Survivor content.
Take it. Yes. Take whatever we can get.
And Moses says, good episode minus the pepper challenge. Not true at all. Oh. A fake double eviction, no? Yes, Natalie. It is going to be a fake double eviction. Yes, Natalie is in the house. So we will speculate about the end of the recap as to what is going to be going on there. So we start with Arissa, our beautiful Arissa. Oh, I meant to grab a dress because I have a dress in a very similar color palette as she was wearing. I love the color palette. I love the top part of it more, like the cut of the top more than the bottom. I wish it was 100%. Just all the way penciled in just to like below the calf, super tight. I think that would have been like a nice look with the legs crossed. So
I like the
that
white
was
pump
just
too.
Like the white pump as well. Yeah. But I would say that this is a good like an 8.5 on the look scale for me. What's it on the look scale for you? Oh, you're going higher?
No, I was gonna go for an 8, but I'll go for 8.5 too. I'll join you at the 8.5.
Well, it's like I like the color palette because I already own it. So yeah, let me see if I can find the dress that I'm talking about while I'm talking about this episode. So she does say though, Arissa, that this could be the most emotional night of the season. So you've been following the live feeds. Yes. What have you been noticing the last couple of days about what was going? Like, why is it going to be so emotional this episode?
Bunch of crybabies, my lord.
A little bit of, well, you would be crying too.
Oh, I'm sure I would, yeah.
You would be like, you would cry, wouldn't you?
I would cry daily, but I would also cry strategically. I'd be like, you can't send me home. I was annoyed that Kiefer was saying that he was being backdoored when he wasn't being backdoored.
Right. He was
like,
the
that
renom.
That is not a true backdoor. You did play in the veto. You had your shot, Kiefer. So that annoyed me. I don't love Kiefer, but after this, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of rooting for Kiefer.
Well, me kind of, it's up and down. Like, I really was annoyed a couple of days ago when he was just moping around. I was doing the live feed update state with Taryn on Wednesday, so I watched all of Tuesday, and Tuesday was Kiefer mope around the house day. Like,
I'm not making food for anybody.
I'm not, and like Tara would be like, oh, would you like a grilled cheese sandwich? He's like, no, I don't want anything. They're like, oh, the boys are making some like burgers. You want? Not eating. And then just like shuffle around, so sad, and just like, I'm just so hurt up for everything that I've done for them. And it's like, okay, I get it. It sucks. Okay, I would not want to have had that happen to me at all. But he left himself wide open. Okay, he has been just talking about he wins against everybody. Like he is so like fluffing up his own ego and telling everybody how he's the best player of all time. Like, people don't want to let you win like that.
No. I don't think there's anything more annoying. I don't mind people being cocky. I really don't. I actually like it. And in the diary room, be as cocky as you want. Mm-hmm. But it also annoys me when people are telling one another who's voting for who in a final two. You don't effing know who's voting for who. So Kiefer can say that he beats everyone. We don't know that.
Exactly. Really anything could happen within the next like few episodes or few weeks that can completely change everybody's perception. Like they could win 5 things back to back in a row. They could take out everybody one by one. They could turn on Jed, Ty, you, like whatever. Like anything could happen for the narrative to change. And so the fact that it was so like set on like, oh yeah, I'm winning this game hands down, no matter what, I've got the votes. I'm just like, keep that to yourself. Like, keep quiet about that, because anything, as we know in this game, could change. And still, like, I don't know, think about how your other players that are playing in the house perceive you, because just because you keep on saying over and over again, Sunsetters for life, Sunsetters Final 4, Sunsetters Final 5, we're the Sunsetters, I'll name my shoes the Sunsetters 4. Like, just because you keep on saying Sunsetters doesn't mean people are not going to be self-interested and try to play the game for themselves. So I was annoyed with Kiefer with the fact that he was just moping around. He's like, okay, I've accepted my fate. I'm like, well, you can't be the best player of all time for accepting your fate, Kiefer. You can't. You can't. You can be nominated and still be the best player of all time, but you can't mope around and be sent to the jury and accept your fate. Like, that's just a no. So I am happy that he kind of switched things around a little bit and like had some talks finally, and he might have changed things around. So the beginning, we're kind of at the video. Wait, what am I talking about here?
Get it together.
I'm sorry. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. Okay, so no, it was just the announcer talk. Oh yeah, Sunsetters. The announcer talk. He's like saying, like, at the veto ceremony, Jed had to shove it all the way in. I really need to know who writes the copy for the announcer, because it's hilarious. And it's so good. And I kind of want to like transcribe it or something, and maybe do some sort of poetry moment with like all the announced thing, be like, and shove it in his back. The Keef Master, like, all the things that he calls everybody would be so good if we did it like a bit Shakespearean.
I like that. I like this idea quite a bit. Even if it's like, these are part of our big brother heritage moments. Beautiful. I love that.
I just thought of it now, so let's actually do that. That's so fun.
It in, send,
well, it's easy to kind of do. It would be a little bit time consuming, but we just would have to go and transcribe the beginning of every episode. He doesn't really talk at the end, does he? Maybe he does. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they say really funny things at the end where I'm like, like, that was clever. Whoever thought of that, genius.
So that basically, okay, I'm planning it out now. So at the end of this season, when like we'll have like the following week, I'll go through all the episodes. I'll just write it all out as it is, and we will just like speak it to each other.
I'm actually down to do this. I'm okay with that.
Because we'd be telling the story of BBCan9.
Yes, through the opening and closing statements of.
I mean, this is so good. Nobody's done this yet.
No,
not one person's done this yet. Okay, don't tell anybody, guys. This is what we're going to be doing. Super fun. Kiefer, though, in the diary room, he started off accepting his fate, being the renom here, being like, I got caught playing two sides, which he did. If you're going to play the middle, you got to be more subtle about it. We hear later in the episode that Tina and Tara both put Kiefer as their number one ally. That's not great to hear if you are also in an alliance with them. So what did you think about Kiefer getting caught here? You enjoy the middle, so tell me.
I think it's smart to play the middle, but I think Kiefer did a really piss poor job of it the last couple of weeks. I don't think Ro was was the person to take out during his double eviction. I think he got cocky and wanted to get showy. And he's also been aligned with other people who will take out the Sunsetters for him. So to play the whole like I'm Final Four with you guys 100%. I've got your backs. I don't think he has anyone's back except for himself, and there's nothing wrong with playing it like that. But own up to that a little bit more instead of really feeding into the bullshit. It has helped him clearly. He stayed this week doing it, so good job on him. Not my favorite person, but I'm like kind of. It's like Beth. I can't stand Beth, but I'm also rooting for Beth. I'm like, I really don't like Beth, but I think she's actually has been playing a great game, and I'm like, give her a little bit more credit, folks. Don't like her, but I'm rooting for her. Don't like Kiefer, but I'm rooting for him.
Kind of. Okay, so do you still have everybody on your team? I can't remember who you have.
I lost my first person tonight.
Who's your first person? Tonight. Okay. Yay. I mean, sorry, that's the person that you probably wanted to keep the most. East Coast, brethren. I got a little bit choked up. So we see immediately like Jed just sitting there with his hands, and he's kind of crying, and you see Tina rubbing his back, and then Kiefer goes and sits down, and like he's like, I know, man, I know, it's okay, and they're both just like crying together, and I thought it was a sweet moment. I believe that Jed was doing this, like he did feel bad about doing this move, and so I cried. Did you cry?
I didn't cry, but I did feel for Jed. I also thought Jed looked so gorgeous tonight. There was so many times that I was like, my God, he's good looking. But my thing is, if I was anybody else in that house besides the three of them, I'd be thinking, I got to get Jedson out of here. If two people that he just nominated for eviction, one of them is absolutely going home and they're crying with him and consoling him, my God, that's someone that's dangerous. And I'd be like, no, gotta go. Sorry.
So Sue, you have to start watching because we're talking about BB Canada. I mean, if you enjoy Big Brother, you'll definitely like BB Canada. This is a really good season. I would suggest to watch. They really opened up the diversity, and it's a bit of a condensed season. So it's only going to be there's only 14 house guests in only 70 days. So you could probably catch up and still like be able to watch alongside with us. And if you need a way to watch, I'm sure somebody in the chat will be able to hook you up, or message me and I'll be able to figure out or help you with a way if you're not in Canada to watch. But it's a really good season. And I would say, like, if you haven't been a Big Brother Canada fan up until now, it's a decent season to start with. Like, I think it would be very enjoyable. In my opinion. Just to take it off, to the side, Sue wants to know what's our favorite Big Brother challenge is. I like a lot of them, but I pretend to like the stuff in the end game later, like better. So any of the challenges where we have to remember days or figure out a pattern or put things in order, I like that element of Big Brother. I think it's fun. I like that people can control their fate. They can, if they study well, they can do well. And I like that being possible for them. It's not just like a luck thing. Like if they put in the effort, they can see the benefit of doing that. And so I like those end game comps usually, those style. What about you?
I love any type of endurance challenge. They really get me going. I agree with you that I like usually prefer challenges that are later on in the game where people can actually have to study for them and bring their lives into their own hands. But endurance challenges for sure. I particularly like when they're being rained on or absolutely miserable, or hurting themselves throughout in a lot of intense pain. So
what about the one where they're swinging around and they get like hit by something? Yeah, like that. Okay.
That's when I picture pain. I was like, oh, that was a good one. That would be so painful.
But I can see you hanging on for dear life. I feel like you would win that one.
I love endurance in general. So yeah, you couldn't take me off of friggin', I don't know what. I was gonna give a bad example. Set me on whatever.
Yes, Sue, we both would go on Big Brother in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to be on Big Brother, and hopefully they don't do an all-star season. So maybe next year is one of our seasons to be on it. I love the diversity talk between Ty and Brayden. That's never really been a thing on any version of Big Brother. They kind of shy away from any of these talks. You know, they cut the feeds or they just don't even air it. So even when there's something, say, racist or negative happening, they just cut it out. And like, I don't think that is beneficial to cut it out and protect people from what they say. Like, I think in order for us to grow, we need to know what people say and know how people feel and know what the reactions were for people in the house. And people that may say certain things that are inappropriate need to see how other people feel about those things and not just maybe have a little slap on the wrist by production. So I was really proud of them for having this diversity talk and talking about this is the first time, I think, ever on Big Brothers that there's been 5 people that identify as Black in the house. That's insane to me. I've never in my life ever been, I've just been me and like one other person in anything that I've ever done in my life, you know? So that's just insane to me. I've never seen that. So I think it's super, super cool. And Ty recognizes that, you know, he's like, I would love to have somebody on TV when I was younger, and like he wants to be this for somebody that's young right now, and not just be rappers and basketball players. I mean, they're great too, and if you want to aspire to be to that, absolutely. But other people, real people, not just in the entertainment or athletes. And so I like that he also mentioned that regular people just need to have somebody to aspire to be, or just to even know that it's possible. So what are your thoughts of seeing that? Because like, you know, as much as it affects me, but like it's something new for you to be witnessing as well.
Yeah, of course. I think it's funny that he says regular people, but I'm like, look at him being the most beautiful god, like showing up on our screens. Even Bray's beautiful. I think especially when Arissa became a producer this year, and they openly were like, "This is what we're doing. We're making this happen." And a lot of America, I think CBS in America even came out and said that they will be pushing for more representation in general of POCs, which is beautiful. But we can't forget that like having someone like Julie on the show this season was an incredible milestone for trans contestants. It's always nice to see a variety, and that's what we got, and not just in people's races, but like who they are as people, people's ages, all that jazz, sexualities. We had like Latoya coming out as bi at some point in the show. It's like, that's what I want. I want like, we live in Toronto, so we are lucky to live around quite a diverse group of folks in general, but not a lot of Canada has that. And a lot of people in small towns, like I grew up in a super small town, and my best friend, she was one of 2 Black kids. And the other one was her twin brother. But the thing is, he didn't look Black. And she very much looked Black. So, and her mom was Black. So since I was a young kid, I've always been hyper aware of like feeling different, about being close with people that feel different, and recognizing that. Just sort of see it on television. Yeah. Give me more of it. Should have happened 20 years ago.
I mean, yeah, it shouldn't be a thing,
but at least it's now. At least it's happening. So
yay!
Yay!
So this is the only picture that I found, but of me in the dress that's the same color, color palette.
it's the light blue and the dark blue for me that I love, with the white and the red. It was beautiful color combo.
Yeah, so I'm into it. Yeah. Just saying.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get that?
That is somewhere downtown on Spadina. One of those like those.
Was it Katie?
Probably. It was a person's name. It was a name
for sure.
It's on the corner of like Dundas and Spadina, like somewhere around there.
That's amazing.
Were you obsessed with Ty crawling into that bunk bed in the middle of the ball pit? Like, I love that for him.
I feel like it looked bigger on television than it did on the feeds. On the feeds, I felt like he was in this like tiny little thing, but on television, I was like, oh, it doesn't look that small. Like,
I think his feet still hang over the edge. I think
on the feet, it wasn't that bad. Small. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like on the feeds, it looked way smaller than it did on television. I was like, oh, I can sleep in that shit. Sure.
Well, but I didn't even understand why, though, too, when they had the actual little hide and go seek thing, and they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, why? Who cares? Like,
yeah, don't worry about it.
Like, you don't want to sleep on a bed like, in a room
boo-hoo.
by yourself. Ooh. Anyways, I was just like, I thought it was so weird that people cared and they didn't want to do that. It was like, Hi, BB. So BB says, Jojo, it's correct. There are still places in the USA also where you can live your entire life and never see a Black person. It's insane to me. It's insane. That's insane. Wow. Yeah. Like that's so out of, I mean, it just, I don't even believe that it's possible, but I know that it is, but it's just so, I've always been living in quite cosmopolitan cities. I know that when I lived in Vancouver, it was a little more far and few between having Black people around. And so you pass a Black person and you get a head nod, you know what I mean? It's like, I recognize you're another one of us. Yes. But like, there definitely still are people, like you would see a few, at least one a day, maybe. So, Kiefer's talking about the fact that, like, you don't sob for a pawn. And so he knows that he's the target here and that they want him to go home. And so he's having a little bit of a heart-to-heart with Brayden. This is before he got his second wind and wants to stay. And so he starts spilling all the secrets about the Sunsetters, about the fact that they have a name, telling him about the Sunsetters and how they send people up into the sunset. And Brayden is so good at pretending to be really involved in stories.
I'm gonna say something else before I forget it. I was really annoyed this week that Tina, Tara, and Bray didn't use any of the Sunsetters info that Kiefer gave them against Kiefer. They very much just took it in. They're like, okay, that's what's been happening. But they didn't try and play with that. They didn't say, like, Kiefer said if he stays, he's targeting you three because you were part of the Sunsetters together, blah, 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 blah. He came to me. That could.
Do you think it could be jury management?
Maybe, but I don't know.
Because, like, what would happen if now they do that and Kiefer's no longer mad at the trio and would give them their votes and, like, is now pissed at Brayden and Tara for, like, saying that and ensuring that he goes home.
Well, I mean, then in the game would still be Tina, Tara, and Brayden. The three of them would have stayed. It would have been 3 versus 3. Tara still would have won head of household. Could have been 3 against 3. I don't know. If I was one of those 3, I really, really would have tried to push Kiefer to go home this week.
I mean, for the boys, I don't think it's that great of a move, but for Beth suffered in that move.
But I think Beth wants it. I think Beth wants to be the one to take out Kiefer. I think she wants it under her head of household.
Sure. But it was her idea, though, for having that move happen right now. It was her idea. Yeah. And so even if she's not.
Yeah, it would have been way better for her for him to go than for the boys. So it's definitely a better move for the boys. Absolutely.
And Brayden, though, he like adds some salt to the wound here. He's just like, I just don't get them turning on you. I'm just like, oh, Brayden. But I mean, Brayden, I think, is playing pretty decently socially. He just needs to win something, or he's not even going to get dragged to the final 2 because chances are people will take him out before that's a thing. So he needs to win to get some credit there and get the jury start to, think of him as a potential winner, because right now he's just somebody that people can do whatever they want with them and it doesn't matter, Yeah. So they get a challenge. So there is a plate of peppers that Moses apparently does not enjoy. I like spicy. Okay, so I'm not against this. I've also worked at a Mexican restaurant before, and I've had to taste many peppers. So, Jojo, how do you feel about peppers, dear?
I am not a spicy person. Well, might be a spicy person, but I'm not a spicy heat level in my mouth type of person.
Which number pepper would you have taken?
I would have wanted to take one, but I probably would have tried to take one for the team and done like 2 or 3. Or four would have been my max. And I would have had a pint of milk. I probably would have
not have been able to handle it.
Not at all.
No, because you don't like Tabasco, which is not even hot.
I can't do Tabasco. No, I can't. I can barely do mild wings. Barely.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh at you, but like, it's just hilarious to me because it's just not hot. It's so funny that it affects you so much.
I wonder if you could have like opened it up, taken all the seeds out, like crumpled it up.
So.
That's what I think. It's tried to do.
Everything. I think you had to eat the whole thing except for the stem. I think that's the thing.
I probably just would have swallowed whatever it was. Just been like.
Like open your throat. That just reminds me, this is so random, but I remember I used to work when Smirnoff Ice first came on the market. Okay, this is like 2001 or something. I worked at this brand ambassador company called Mixer now, but it used to be called Plain and Simple. And so we were always like, for the whole summer, we'd go around as Smeared officers. And so we would be like giving people tickets because we're Smeared officers. And they would always elect me to run into a bar and with my megaphone on, be like, all right, everybody freeze. This is a Smirnoff Ice raid. Nobody moves. Nobody gets hurt. So I'd go around and get infractions for like, we'd be like illegal boy band member and your mullet length's too long and whatever. You have no teeth. Like whatever it is, we had a whole bunch of different infractions on our ticket. We'd give them out. Yeah. And then they go and contest it with like the one guy that we had on our team. So I just remember this one guy that says that he can chug anything in one sip. So he took a pint glass and poured the entire Smirnoff Ice in there and went like this. And I swear it was like a snake. And he just like dislocated his jaw and just like with the whole pint glass in his mouth and just like, go, and just drank the entire Smirnoff Ice in one sip. He's like, I don't know how, it was insane. It was insane.
And the glass is gone too.
The glass was still there. The glass was still there. He's like, I was just like, I remember just being like, never seen that before.
That's impressive, though.
It was really impressive, but it freaked me out, and like it kind of grossed me out at the same time. And then, so you just taking one pepper all at once reminded me of that. Like, anyways, Natalie loves peppers from Subway, the yellow ones that are not hot. Yeah, the pepper from Subway, they don't hurt. They're not hot at all. I can eat peppers.
They probably are for me.
They're not. Maybe a little bit, but like I love pineapple and
banana pepper
on my yellow. Maybe. I'm not sure. There's so many. There's like a bazillion peppers. What?
Did you ever watch that Champions show on Netflix? It was like a documentary of just champions. An incredible. I'll find the title for you. Incredible docuseries. Every episode is a different theme. And one was a hot pepper eating contest.
Gross.
No, unreal. I was so hooked. Like genetically modified peppers to the point where they're like people's eyeballs are like falling out. It was incredible.
Well, like peppers, like I've had some really hot peppers where I'm like snot and eyes watering and like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Have you seen Dimitri and Aika eat the super hot noodles?
No, I will not. That's a good one. My eyes.
Oh my god, no, you will enjoy it. No, you will enjoy this. Like, okay. it's like like Aika's fine. Like, oh, this is fine. And Dimitri's like, oh my god, and he's chugging the water. He's laying down on the ground. She's fanning him like. He couldn't handle it at one point. So it's good. It's good.
Sad.
Well, yeah, they decided to add Scotch bonnet peppers to it because like they didn't think it was hot in the beginning, but then like it increasingly got super, super hot. Anyways, so Tara, it cannot take the heat. So she took the pepper and pepperoncini. If I know that pepper correctly, like in the Mexican terms, it is not spicy at all. You could handle this pepper. It's almost like it's like some people eat those peppers like an apple. Like they're just not they're not spicy really at all. Like maybe like a little tingle, but like they're not spicy peppers. Tina had an Anaheim pepper. It looked like it's a little bit spicier, but I actually don't think it's a very spicy pepper if I'm thinking about what it would taste like. It's not really spicy. Now, and poblano peppers, which is one Kiefer took, and that also, poblano is probably one of the most mild peppers in like Mexico. So I would say not spicy. But jalapeno peppers sometimes can get spicy. So that's what Jed had. I've never had a Hungarian pepper, which is what Beth had. I'm proud of Beth, though, being able to take the heat here. She went for number 5. Braden also taking the heat, just popping those 3 peppers in his mouth, these Thai chili peppers. His lips looked like they were a bit swollen, so that was hot.
This was beautiful.
Right? He's so smoochable. And habanero peppers, they can be quite hot, which is what Ty had. Ty was just like, he just looked like he had been through something. Like
he survived that experience.
Even after Jed, he's like, I hate spicy. And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm in a bad place. But I know what he needs, because when it's really hot, it's not good. It's so bad.
What happens to their butts afterwards?
Well, as Tina was saying, that spicy on the way in and flaming on the way out. So
is that what happens?
Maybe if you're not able to digest it that well. These poor people. I wonder if they're going to talk about it on the feeds. But they didn't, actually. I didn't notice them talking about So because they managed to get down all the peppers, they were going to get a spicy soiree later on in the evening. So Kiefer goes and talks to Jed, and they didn't show any of Kiefer laying in the Expedia room for the entire day while Tina and Tara came in and were trying to console him. Like, they didn't show any of Kiefer moping around. Like, he really moped around for 9 hours. Like, I think he didn't talk to Jed until like 7 p.m. Like, he was moping. And so, Jed is holding his own, saying, like, listen, they both told me that you're they're number ones, that you were planning on putting us up, that, you've been winning a lot of these competitions. Like, I know that you've done really well for us, and like, you really helped us get to where we are, but like, we are scared that blah, blah, blah. Anyways, what did you think of that conversation?
Yeah, I did. I definitely thought it was going to initially stay that Kiefer was going. Jed was giving him the points of why he was nominated for eviction, the reason that he should go. And Kiefer's smart. Like, he's great at these true or false A and B question and answer competitions. So especially when they happen later on in the season, you're going to have to watch out for people that have been studying since the beginning.
Beth and Jed have been studying as well, actually. But
Beth and Jed, but Tara has been studying quite a bit. Tina didn't really know much, so she wasn't really going to be helping her alliance moving forward. But even Braden, I'm like, at one point I thought people were throwing the head of household competition tonight. We'll get to that later.
Yep, maybe. So I think that what settled in was like, Kiefer's like, I swear on my wife, my family, my kids, that I want to go to the Final Four with you. Like, I want to do this. And Kiefer has even been saying that to the cameras, like, I want to go to the Final Four with them. I want to go to the Final 2 with Jed. I want to beat the best. And I get it. I get you want to beat the best, but like, how about you just win?
Yeah.
Just win. Who cares if like I think what is messing up, in my opinion, Kiefer's game is his desire to be the greatest Big Brother player of all time. I think that being his goal is making him not see what's actually going on in front of him. Like, he's not in the best alliance of all time. That's actually not true. It isn't a thing. You know, like, if you were in the best alliance of all time, they wouldn't be turning on you. You wouldn't be on the block here, like, unless it was planned, that it just to make it look like you guys weren't working together or something. Like, it wouldn't have happened if this was the best alliance of all time. So him wanting to have that happen and him wanting to be revered as the best player of all time, I think that's really ruining his game. You're like, yes.
It doesn't put a good, like, taste in my mouth. He constantly talks about being on All Stars. I'm like, you're playing the game now. Why are you talking about All Stars?
Win first.
Years from now, like, just win this game. Quit telling people that you're going to beat them. Quit telling them that they're going to vote for you at the end. Like, he told Tarantino, he was like, well, I know you two will vote for me. It's like,
it wasn't Tara like, maybe not.
Exactly. It's like, actually, maybe we won't vote for you. Like, depending on how the rest of this game goes, there's still so much that can happen. I don't know. I don't know if it was, I think the boys were smart to keep Kiefer, but at the same time, it looks so
wimpy,
gross and wimpy if Kiefer doesn't try and take one of them out. And I get going, I'm like, if Kiefer won this week, I would hope that he would be like, Beth, Jed, sit, there you go. Up on the block, you put me up, there we go. Easy peasy. It probably won't happen. We might see a Sunsetters Final Four. Maybe not after this week.
I still have faith.
The fake double eviction. Jeez Louise.
So Tina doesn't want to campaign. Really, it's not her style. She doesn't want to campaign against Kiefer. And that gave me a big eye roll. Because it's like, it's possible for you to campaign to stay in the game without throwing Kiefer under the bus. A, and B, you weren't friends with Kiefer 6 weeks ago. Kiefer isn't in your family. So, like, do what it takes for you to stay in the game, because this is your journey here, and you want to win this for your lifestyle and your, like, it's not for Kiefer. And so I was disappointed in the first time where Tina is on the block that she doesn't really want to campaign against Kiefer. It's like, why? Do it.
Yeah.
Like,
make it happen. Maybe she felt incredibly comfortable at first with him going up on the block. I'm sure that she was told that she was going to be staying against him earlier on. Tina, for me, went from I actually thought for weeks that Tina was playing an incredible game, but I think she became really complacent and had a hard time, like, catching up with everyone else the last couple of weeks. There were definitely things Tina could have done this week to position herself better, and she didn't do them. And like you said, campaigning isn't necessarily against Kiefer. It's for her to stay. For her to stay. So
absolutely. And I think with Tina, she was originally on the Destiny side, and I feel like the people on the Destiny side, they didn't have to fight for their life at all in the very beginning. And so, and then Tina didn't have to fight really after that. Like, she had the Sunsetters protecting her, even though she didn't really care about them. And she never really fought for anybody to stay. So now that her life is on the line, she doesn't even really have any practice on, like, what kind of works to, like, maybe, you know, prompt people or whatnot in order to ensure that they want to keep you. She does say, because they are scared about, you know, the fact that she's never going to put up Tara and Tina was like, well, yeah, I might, like, if it means ensuring that I'm going to be moving forward in the game, like, yeah, I would put up Tara. I don't think she would ever put up Tara.
I really wish that she pulled, like, Jad Beth. You guys are seen as a duo. Tarantina, we are seen as a duo. Why don't we make a Final Four? No one would see it coming. Blah 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 blah. That would have made maybe Beth and Jed go, oh, okay, we can lose Kiefer, because Tina's
feeling a little bit safe.
Feeling a little bit more safe. That they would take a tie over the two of them, or maybe even Bray. Who knows? I doubt that would happen. But trying to form a Final Four,
something
really smart.
Just something. We'll just be like, hey, well, like, we're still sunsetters. Like, I'm not mad at you guys for putting me up. I get what you guys are trying to do. You're trying to break up me and Tara. But like, what if we work together and all of us stayed? Like, I think that would be a great thing to do, because she still can say like, hey, I'm a sunsetter. Like, let's just bring Tara in and let's work together. It'll just be you three, us two, and we'll take out Brayden next and we'll be the final five. Like,
yeah.
And that's something that they could believe. I don't think that they would actually follow through with that, which is fine. Yeah. And maybe they wouldn't believe that. I don't know. But I would have made some sort of try. Something,
Tina.
Something, Tina. But she reads body language, and she did feel a little bit uneasy about how about Jed and Beth were kind of reacting to her pitch. Yeah. So it wasn't looking good for Tina. No.
No.
So Kiefer talks to Ty about how Jed thinks that he made a mistake. And then Jed talks to Beth and like about like the fact that they're thinking of maybe keeping Kiefer. And I think Beth is kind of mad because she just doesn't even make it like she's just there, like not blinking, listening to like them decide if they want to keep Kiefer or whatever. And I don't think she wants to do that, but I also don't think she does. She wants to like say like, no, stop. Like I don't think she wanted to get in the way of them flipping the other side, but I don't think she wanted it at all.
I doubt it.
Yeah. No.
I highly doubt it. But at the same time, if she wants to discredit Jed a little bit, in my opinion, he did not have a successful head of household. Getting Tina out. Yeah, getting Tina out this week is like, oh, okay. You got Tina out. Cool.
Fair, but if he gets to the end, he could say that this was the move, right?
The move is keeping Kiefer?
Yeah, you could see maybe Kiefer wins a beat. Like it could be proven later down in the road that it was the proper move. But in Kiefer's pitch, she was also saying that Beth is going to be taking Jed, or is not going to take Jed most likely, but Jed is going to take Beth. And so he was kind of planting the seed to Ty that Beth may be easily turnable and that she might take one of you guys out, maybe even Jed, because Jed is most likely her biggest competition. So I was wondering why Kiefer was having this conversation before the eviction. Just because if Ty was like, oh my God, like he's planning on coming for Beth after this, but he didn't. He did go and talk to them about like keeping Kiefer. But I thought it was very risky of Kiefer to bring up that conversation before it was locked in that he was staying.
I was shocked that he but no, I'm not shocked because I don't think Kiefer, I feel like we have an incredible cast of players who are not playing well. So does it surprise me that he did that? God, no. It could have been really bad for him.
Fair. You're right. So Ty, Kiefer, and Jed are sitting, I think, at the dining room table, and Ty goes to Kiefer like, yo, and he's like, what are you saying? And like they're like, Kiefer's like eyes perk up and he looks over to, actually I think the sequence of events of that is actually wrong. I think that when that conversation with Ty happened, I think it was after Kiefer knew he was staying.
Oh, but they edited it otherwise?
Yeah, I think or maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm just messing. No, I wrote it in that order, so I wouldn't be messing up the timeline. Anyways, whatever. I'm just realizing that now because I'm like, oh wait, they didn't tell him that yet. And so him to be having that conversation beforehand really doesn't make any sense, but that's beside the point. So then Kiefer looks over to Jed and he is like, yo, and like, what are you saying? And they're like, let's go to the Expedia room. And like, you can see like, he knows what that meant. And he honestly looked like an 8-year-old boy Christmas morning that's allowed to go and open one present, like it was just, he was so excited to go to the Expedia room and talk to them. And I got a little bit teary-eyed because they really didn't want to do this to Kiefer, and it would have been a savage move. It would have been great for the resume, blah, blah, blah. But they say to him they never wanted him to go. Bro, your family. I love you. I don't care if you take me out. Like, I love you. I want you to be here. I want to play this game with you. I don't care. Your family. And so I was just like, that's probably all that Kiefer really wanted to hear. Like, I'm crying now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sweet, but at the end of the day,
it's okay.
For a couple of days, they wanted him to go. So it's like, come on. And I did feel like it was really kind of painting Beth in a bad light, her not being there. So I get why she would be upset, because they were like, we never wanted you to go. We are a family, the 3 boys. We love hugging and celebrating together and jumping up and down. But
this is the thing that I get why she's mad. So right after that, Beth and Jed are in the house cooled, and they talk about the fact that they told Kiefer, and she gets pissed. And I get why she's pissed, but I also don't, because she's not that close with Kiefer. You know what I mean? And so, like, I could see them, they have their own little bro thing. I really wanted her to be like, fuck you guys then. Like, I'm going to vote to keep Tina. And because Jed says, like, well, you have your own vote. You can do whatever you want with your vote. You know, like, if you're saying that, like, that's not what you want, you could do whatever you want with your vote, and you could still go and talk to him about your vote. Like, Jed is the head of household. He doesn't really have one. It's in case of a tie. So it's not still edged in stone that he's staying. And it's also, you still have a complete opportunity to go and make a deal for yourself. So the fact that it really irritated me, the part where she's kind of like, oh, like, you know, it's just it's not the Ty and Jed show. It's not the Ty and Jed show. And so the fact that she just wants to be like in the spotlight, it's annoying, because it's like, go fix it.
I get it.
Go fix it though.
She absolutely could go fix it. Like, obviously would have to, but I get being like annoyed. It's like, okay, this is a decision that was made without me. I wasn't in the room. I was told what's happening. I don't know. I'd be cheesed. It just like she was, I'm sure. But it's also like, maybe she wanted to guilt Jedson. Maybe she wanted to guilt him just a little bit, make him feel bad, draw him in a little.
But okay, manipulation. I'm saying it's fine her to feel this way, but her to be saying to them, like, you know, like, I feel like I'm just making all these moves for you, and you guys are getting credit for it. And then, like, I just, like, that whole kind of tantrum she's throwing to these guys, like, say it in the diary room, be fine, be like, oh my God, I'm so pissed off at them. But like, to me, if I was those guys, I'd be like, oh, okay, I could lose Beth then, because like, she's so mad at us for like making a decision that they were thinking was for all of them, and so didn't even think about the fact that she'd be upset about this, because it was kind of a group decision. And then that she's acting this way, it would have put a bad taste in my mouth, and it'd be like, well, we can lose her. So
after like 47 days, I don't know if they would actually feel comfortable. I feel like Beth is probably going to be the one out of the 3 to turn on one of the other 2 earlier than she is.
Absolutely, she is. So. She wants to win. She wants to be Queen Bee. Yeah. But I just don't like her, like, complaining to them about that. I feel like she should be maybe fuming on the inside, but she doesn't want to make these people be mad at her and be willing to lose her. You know what I mean? And I think that they would be willing to lose her after that kind of outburst, where they were like, oh, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. We didn't need to take away your vote. Like, we didn't do that. Like, you still have your vote. Go talk to him and make a friggin' deal.
How long was that conversation? Like, we don't know. 10 minutes later, she could have been like, I'm sorry, boys. I love you, my boyfriends. I love you both.
I don't know.
Who knows? I wanted her to the dramatics of it, and like her getting pissed. Keep it to yourself, absolutely. But I don't know. I don't know if it actually, like, it didn't tear the sauce apart. You know what I mean?
I like the nickname, like the lines name. I actually do. I think it's very good. The sauce is cute. At this point, I was like, I would love it for them to flip Brayden, for it to be Ty and Brayden that keeps Kiefer, and Beth votes the other way with Tara, and Jedson breaks the tie, and then Beth can be like, do her own thing, because she feels locked into the trio, but she also wants to do her own thing and have credit for everything. So do what you want then, Beth. You don't need the trio then anymore. Like, we won't protect you anymore then, if it's such a problem for you to be able to shine with us, you know, working together with you. And so it's like, do your own thing. She'd be dropped. She would be dropped, in my opinion. I don't know. I wouldn't be fighting for her anymore. No, thank you. And so we get to the vote, and Kiefer, one line that he says, "If I'm good for your game," which I usually hate that, but he's like, "Keep me and let's play." And I'm like, I like that. He does mention all the time that he's a kid from the so the residents. And I like that he brings that back in as well, because we've never, that I can remember anyways, had any representation from Indigenous people. So that is also a nice reminder of the diversity again in the house. Brayden got a haircut. I wonder who cut his hair. Who had the clippers? Ty
and Jed gave Brayden a really bad haircut today. The fade was really bad. And Kiefer got one from Beth. Beth gave Kiefer a chop.
I didn't watch the feeds today, so I didn't see no choppity chop. So they are going to vote. Brayden goes in first. He votes to evict Tina. Tara, obviously, I'm not going to evict my girl. I vote to evict Kiefer. And then Ty evicts Blue Line. Do you know why they call her Blue Line?
Assuming it's some East Coast thing that I'm not aware of.
Okay. I'm like,
I don't know, though.
My East Coast representative, Jojo, you do not know what Blue Line means. Okay.
No, I don't know what it means.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, but I have no idea. And Beth also votes to evict Tina. So Tina, vote to 3-1, is evicted from the Big Brother house. She goes out and she talks to Arissa. Arissa would seem to be rooting for her as well. And so she asked Tina, what do you think happened? And so she thinks that the plan was all along was actually Kiefer. And they should pretend like that's the case or something, because the flip-flop, I think, looks way worse.
Yes, that's why I think it was a bad head of household. I don't think it looked good for Jed. I don't think it was successful. If he put Brayden up, at least he could have had an option of who he really wanted to go, instead of being like, well, I guess Tina has to go because I want to keep Kiefer. It was all silly to me.
Not good. But she thinks of this is the plan because they want to break up her and Tina, which is Tara, which is true. We're learning that Tara is somebody to contend with here, and so having that number in Tina is powerful, and so breaking that up could be useful this week for them. It really could be, and having people that are playing for them that would more likely use the veto. So Tina thinks that the three should band together. I'm assuming that she was talking about Kiefer, Brayden, and Tara. They need to stick together. That's who I'm assuming that she's talking about, the three. And that's pretty much it. It was a pretty short segment for Tina. Next, we go back to the living room and, not the living room, let's go outside for the head of household competition. And it's going to be rewriting history. And so what they had been doing was they had to study some of these quotes from their evicted house guests. And so we didn't really see all the quotes, but we saw some of them. And I loved the reaction, though, when they showed I was keeping a secret. I'm actually a police officer. So they got really like, what? I didn't know that. Oh my God. I wish we got to hear all of them, because that was interesting. If they're going to put in some filler segments, let's hear a lot of them, because I actually enjoyed that. So the head of household competition is a work of literature, and it's who said this quote. And so it's going to be the most points after 7 questions. And basically, long story short, Tara only got 1 question incorrect. So 6 out of 7, she is the new winner of head of household, which was I wasn't surprising, but it wasn't a good win, Moses says he hasn't won the last 2 comps he's played in. Maybe he's trying to look, and I don't think this is the case, but maybe he's trying to look weaker, maybe. But I don't think so. I think that I don't know if he's great at studying when it's something fast like that. Maybe it's he's better at I know what happened on day 1 and day 2, but not just cramming in information, that I don't know how long they get to study. So Kiefer didn't win. Now, before today, Tara was saying that she would put up Jed and Kiefer if she were to win head of household this week. What do you think she's going to do? You think she's going to do that?
I think she's going to put up Jed and Kiefer. Yeah.
Kiefer even?
I would be shocked if she didn't.
Why do you think that she's going to put up Kiefer for sure?
100%.
Oh, because Kiefer did say that he would put her up if he won.
And I genuinely think she thinks her best path to the final two is with Beth. And Brayden has no one, so they can team up. Maybe the three of them might make something this week. I think it could get really juicy quickly if Ty wins veto, takes Jed down. Beth goes up. Kiefer versus Beth. If she puts up Brayden, like, that's such a waste. He's going. I think she's really going to keep 2 of the 4 Sunsetters on the block this week, and we'll finally see one of them evicted. Except Tina was a Sunsetter, so I don't get why he said only 5 people to Brayden. There was 6.
Oh, because he didn't want to out Tina because he thought Tina was staying at that point. I think you mean Tara, Bean. So will Tara make a deal with the throuple to keep them safe? I don't think so. She did make a deal with Jed on his head of household, but I don't think that she's going to follow through with that. I do think she's going to put up Kiefer and Jed just because Kiefer said, like, hey, like, I promise on, like, my family and all this stuff on things that, like, the dark stuff, like, I can't go back on that. So if I were to win, I would have to put you and braid it up. That's what he was saying to her. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would be her retaliation, would be like, hey, I'm putting up Kiefer and I'm putting up Jed. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the episode. You're frozen. I don't know if you can hear me still. You're frozen with looking like you have a lazy eye. No problem, Tara, BB. I know what she meant. Can you hear me though? No? Yes?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. In real time or is it delayed?
I can't.
Okay, cool. So do you have anything else about the episode that you would like to talk about that we missed? BB thinks Jed Ty. Maybe, but I feel like she's burned by Kiefer. Okay, so what would happen?
Yeah, I don't think she'll do Jed and Ty.
Because I think she wants the people that would most likely win the veto to be on the block together. So Kiefer has showed that he's really good at competitions, and so has Jed. And so she'd probably rather them win for themselves than Ty win and take one of them off, or Jed them being off the block and one of the other person win, take them off the block, and then she'd have to put up Beth or Brayden. You know what I mean? It just might be bad that way. So maybe that's why she's putting up Jed and Kiefer, because they're the biggest competition threats, and so she doesn't have to worry about them using the veto to mess up her plans and make her have to nominate a gazillion people. Kiefer is pushing Jed and Beth to her.
Yeah.
I mean, she shouldn't put up Beth, but she's also never liked Beth. And so I could see Tara wanting to be the last woman standing as well. I know she's been pitching to Beth, being like, hey, women have to stick together, but I don't think she actually wants that. I think she was only saying that because she wanted Tina to still be there. Did we see all that? Did you see that Kiefer thinks that next season is going to be All-Stars and wants to go after Ro again? He needs to focus on this season. It's not the move. Ro is not the move. The move is to work with Ro and then get him like at the Final Four or something like that, you know? Like, I don't know. I just like having these like long-standing vendettas it's never usually good for your game. One person always loses. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I wouldn't if I were Kiefer, to keep on focusing on Rohan, because if that's the battle that's happening, someone has to lose it. And someone will go home, and it could be Kiefer in that case. So maybe not start off with an enemy that's somebody that's automatically coming for you and creating that friction. Because like, having that be, this is happening in the circle right now. This is exactly what I was talking about in the circle with Savannah and Tara Alicia. Like they created this whole drama, and they're going back and forth. Are you on my side? Are you on their side? Or my side? Like someone's going to lose that battle, and one of the two of them are going to be going home. And so in order to increase your likelihood to stay, don't have an enemy in the house. That's just it. That's just a fact. Anyways, it's been lovely hanging out with you, JoJo. Do you have anything that you're working on that you want to share with the people?
Yeah.
No. So nothing?
No.
No. Well, that's okay. As long as you guys just subscribe here to Reality Pop. Me? No, I have nothing going on. Just Reality Pop. We are doing the Challenge All-Stars on Fridays at 8 for Reality Pop. And then on Reality Realness with 3 S's, we'll be doing the Challenge All-Stars at 10 p.m. So if you like the challenge, please do that. And then also joining me on the block on Monday. It should be Khalid. So definitely come and hang out with us on the block on Monday as well, so we can see what is the fallout of Tara's HOH noms. Wait, can Tara play head of household next week? No. Not yet. It would be Final 4 to Final 3 that she can play. You're welcome, BB. You're so loyal. Thank you, Moses. You are very loyal as well. Natalie, I love seeing you. Sue, nice to meet you. Start watching Big Brother Canada so you can join in on all the fun. Lana, did I miss anybody? I don't think so. So thanks for joining us, guys. We love you, and we will see you soon.